In Austin, I'm Mark Mullins. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton marked Monday's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday by issuing a lengthy legal opinion attacking DEI policies. He also took aim at U.S. Senator John Cornyn, who he'll face for Cornyn in the Republican primary. This all comes amid an intensifying Texas Republican Senate primary showdown. Reporter Jessica Cha breaks down the opinion and how lawmakers are reacting to it.
On MLK Day, Attorney General Ken Paxton released a 75-page legal opinion stating that DEI has no place in Texas. In the opinion and adjacent press release, he says DEI frameworks that have, quote, invaded every school system and the state and federal government are unconstitutional. And the action to dismantle DEI in Texas helps fulfill the vision articulated by Martin Luther King Jr.
My initial reaction was disgust. To read that letter on a day that we celebrate Martin Luther King Day.
State Representative Ron Reynolds is chair of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus.
I think this was intentional. I think he did this to get media attention.
The opinion also attacks Senator John Cornyn. It cites a 1999 opinion he issued when he served as Attorney General, where he declined to comment on the use of race in financial aid decisions by public universities and withdrew a previous AG's opinion on it. The opinion says that has allowed DEI policies to go unchecked. On X, Cornyn replied to the attack saying, quote, a competent attorney general would know that the retraction was on incomplete guidance due to litigation, so there's nothing to overturn and is a waste of taxpayer dollars, unquote. Democratic Representative Ron Reynolds agrees, calling it a calculated political move.
This opinion basically was designed to undermine Senator Cornyn, who he's in a Republican primary with. He's using black and brown and minorities as political pawns for his MAGA base.
In the bulk of the opinion, Paxton argues that private companies in Texas engage in, quote, woke DEI practices, referencing programs like the Historically Underutilized Business Program, or HUB, and Affirmative Action, which considers sex and race in hiring practices and prioritizes certain businesses for public contracts based on race and sex. Paxton says that can create hostile work environments and create stereotypes. But Reynolds says programs like HUB are based on real disparity studies where minorities and women have historically underperformed.
It's to create a level playing field when it comes to procurement for government contracts. It gives opportunities. And so this is really, I hate to say it, but this is really terrible BS.
In the letter, Paxton says they'd hold anyone accountable for continuing to use DEI frameworks. And while not legally binding, Reynolds fears that this could set a dangerous precedent.
I'm afraid starting tomorrow, after the holiday, many companies will be afraid to have DEI policies. This is going to be a real dark day for a state as diverse as Texas.
And that was Jessica Cha reporting. One of the biggest outstanding questions about this opinion is who asked for it. Under Texas law, the AG's office issues opinions in response to requests from lawmakers or state executives. In this case, they did not give any information about who requested it. We reached out to the Attorney General for comment, and we are waiting to hear back. In honor of MLK Day, a crowd gathered at the Texas Capitol to celebrate before they marched to Houston-Tillotson University. Reporter Kelsey Sanchez was there.
Racism should be stopped by treating people fairly and with kindness.
A powerful message from a young voice. Fourth grader Queen Williams addressing this crowd on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Dr. King said, people should not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
She joined others, raising their voices to honor the civil rights leader's life and work.
It takes real power to respect humanity where you disagree. And that tension, that is the democracy that we actually want. That is MLK's actual dream.
Following the messages of hope for peace, equality, and justice, the crowd sang songs and eventually took to the streets.
They need to know what he did for us.
To march to keep the message going.
That they have a future, that life is about faith, hope, and love, and that they can They can just grow up to be what God wants them to be.
A day ending in celebration and unity. In downtown Austin, Kelsey Sanchez, KVUE News.
Well, people in Leander and Cedar Park came together for a march and celebration honoring Dr. King. Organizers say this is the 5th celebration in Leander, and this year they invited their neighbors from Cedar Park to join in. People came out to the Cedar Park Recreation Center for a day of service, food, and activities. Organizers say they want to see more events like this, not only to honor Dr. King, but to bring people of different backgrounds together.
That Dr. Martin Luther King had a great legacy, and I really honestly believe that if people would come together, we could actually have this in our everyday life and not just on MLK Day.
Volunteers put together hygiene kits for the community with student-led Austin nonprofit, the Healthy Hygiene Project, and Leander's Brighter Days Food Pantry collected food at the celebration. A nonprofit dedicated to improving safety for UT students says its West Campus community space may be forced to close. Reporter Brianna Perez shows us how Safe Horns is helping students and how you can get involved.
Students walking to campus on West 23rd Street pass by Safe Horns Place daily.
This space has been made a tremendous impact to the community because we're in the heart of the neighborhood.
Safe Horns opened the space nearly 2 years ago, using it to host educational events, self-defense workshops, and community activities. Tucked in the basement of the Congregational Church, organizers describe it as a safe space for students, and those who have visited agree.
Students can obviously feel left out or they don't fit in. And this organization provides that support just to make sure you're safe in whatever you do, whatever you're involved with.
President Joel McNew says the organization was created after the 2016 death of UT student Erica Weiser, who was killed while walking home from campus. Since then, it has been Safe Horns' mission to keep students safe and help revitalize the area.
It was a place where people did not feel comfortable walking through here for years. And they would always express, even parents visiting, they did not feel safe walking outside in this area.
McNew says Safe Horns relies on donations to keep their doors open, but with funding running low, she turns to the community for help.
It helps us to continue our mission in a bigger way if we can stay in this space, and the only way we can do that is with donations.
Their goal is to raise $75,000 to keep them operating through the end of the year. For more ways to get involved, you can visit KVUE.com. In Austin, Brianna Perez, KVUE News.
And those are the headlines in Austin. I'm Mark Mullins.